And my colour theme for this one was every colour I could find. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's actually going to be quite a rare video today because I'm doing a proper tutorial. So yeah, I thought I would show you how to make Dreamcatchers, mainly because they're just super easy to do, and they can be a lot of fun as well. You can be quite creative with them. But before we get into the crafting, make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Okay, so for the first step, you're going to need a ring, and it can be made out of metal, plastic or wood, it doesn't really matter, but I've got loads of kind of metal ones that I bought on Amazon, so I'm going to be using that today. And also, I don't think it has to be a circle. I think you could probably use squares, triangles, kind of anything you fancy. I'll show you some examples towards the end of the video, but you can be like really creative with Dreamcatchers. There's no kind of set rules on what they're supposed to look like and how you're supposed to make them. I don't think anyway. So yeah, you're going to start off with a ring and some just normal kind of wool or yarn or whatever you want, or some string, and all you want to do is secure it to your loop by tying it into a knot. And by the way, this is how I make Dreamcatchers. If you've got a different way of how you make them, then fantastic, great, but this is just how I make them. So if I'm making it wrong or not the right way, then slag me off in the comments. Right, so basically you just want a knot attached to there so it's secured, and then all you want to do is kind of keep wrapping this all the way around until you've got your entire loop covered. And I'm pretty sure you can buy kind of woolen loops online, possibly. So if you can't be bothered, or if it's too much kind of time consuming work, which it is, it'll take you a long time, then I'm pretty sure you can get them online. But you just keep going around and around until the entire thing's covered, and then obviously tie it into a knot and snip it off. But luckily, I made some earlier, so you don't have to watch us do all of that. And I actually made 3, because I was thinking I could do kind of a nice ombre Dreamcatcher, which I think will look quite cool actually. Yeah, my idea is to just kind of attach them like that. So yeah, once they're done, they'll just be fully kind of coated in this wool, and you won't see any of kind of the metal. But obviously you can expose the metal or the plastic or the wood if you want to as well, it doesn't really matter. Right, now for the next step, I just want to attach all of these together by basically just snipping some wool off and then tying it into a knot, just like that, and then snip that bit off. And then attach this one to the bottom as well, and obviously I'll use kind of a different colour for this one to match up with these two. Right, so now we have that, and it's looking pretty cool already, but obviously it's quite plain. That's just kind of the structure of the Dreamcatcher we're making. Now I want to add some beads and some kind of extra detail. Right, so my idea for this one is I kind of want to add these beads into the centre of them. And I know you can kind of add lace and stuff like that with them, but A, I really like these, and B, they kind of look like my tattoo a little bit. And I found them online, I just found them on Amazon. And I thought they'd look quite cool, just kind of suspended inside of here. Maybe I'll do kind of like 5. I think 4 is a bit too much on that one. We'll go 3 and then maybe use 1. I think that will look quite cool. And what I'll do is I'll just thread some string through these loops, which are on each side, and then attach them to the outside. And that'll kind of give you that spider web effect as well. So we'll do that now. I think this is going to take us a while actually. Yeah, so I've attached that like that, and then I think I'll do the same for these ones. It's going to be a bit off-center, but that's okay. And the thing is as well, if you're doing something like this, you want to try and make it as kind of tight as possible, because you want that kind of tension. You don't want them to be all saggy and miserable. Unless you want them to be saggy and miserable, you know, it's completely up to you. Right, so that's the first one done, and you could kind of add more string through these kind of loop parts if you wanted to and attach it to give it more of a thing, but I'm quite happy with how simple it is actually. I'm going to add a little bit more detail on the bottom anyway. But what I'll do is I'll add all these extra beads in the centre, but I'll show you what I'm going to do at the bottom as well once I've added these beads. It'll take me a little while. So I'll be 1 sec. I won't really be 1 sec, I'll be a lot longer. Right, okay, I'm back, and I've added all my beads onto the wind chime. No, start that again. Okay, I'm back, and I've added all my beads to my Dreamcatcher. I was going to say wind chime again. And to be fair, I could have been a little bit more kind of tidy with it. Especially this middle one, there wasn't as much space as I thought there was going to be, so I should have really just used 2 of these rather than 3, which is why I've gone for 4 instead of 5 on the top one, just to give us a little bit more space. But I'm still quite pleased with it. I still think it's looking pretty decent. And I'm kind of fighting the urge to cover the entire thing with string, because it's quite simple in my eyes, and I like to kind of go over the top with things. So in my mind, I'm just like, do it,
Do it. Add more string.
But I just have to sit back and be like,
No, leave it how it is.
because I am going to add some more detail on the bottom, and simple is sometimes okay, you know, sometimes you don't have to throw everything in the kitchen sink on top of it. And I was thinking about adding some kind of normal feathers onto it, but I've got some previous Dreamcatchers I've made with real feathers on, and I actually bought these beads, which kind of match the ones I've already got on, and they're just little feathers, and I thought these would be really cool to kind of add to the bottom, kind of hanging off. Actually, in fact, I think they'll look really cool. I think I might just add 5, or should I add 6?
Or shall I add 7 and 8 and 9?
No, I think I'll add 4, 5, 6. 6 beads to the bottom, and that kind of gives it that dangly Dreamcatcher feeling. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to do exactly the same process as I did with these beads, and just kind of loop them on to the bottom bit using the brown string because it'll match in a little bit better. In fact, I'm going to have to separate this because it's a bit too thick. There, just like that, and I just need to repeat it for all the others. Right, okay, so I've got all these kind of attached, but because I separated the big strand of wool, I've left with these kind of wiggly bits, and I don't want them particularly like this. So what I'm doing is I'm just using my hair straighteners and just kind of ironing it out, and that just kind of straightens the wool up rather than having a kind of like a little crinkled kind of thing like that. I could have just used thread, but I didn't think of that, did I? Okay, so now we have this very long Dreamcatcher with the feather beads attached to the bottom. And I think it's looking really cool, actually. I'm quite liking it. And what I need to do now, just to kind of finish it off, is add a loop to the top. I'm able to hang it, and then I should be done. And obviously I'll just do that in white. And I think I'm going to keep the hanging part quite short because obviously this is a pretty long Dreamcatcher. I wasn't expecting it to be as long as it is. So I'm just going to make a little small handle on it. Yeah, and there we have it, a Dreamcatcher, and it's really easy to make. The only problem is they take a very long time and they can be fiddly and intricate. But what I'll do is I'll show you some other examples that I've made, just so you know how kind of creative you can be with them. Right, so I've got this one here, and this one is, again, quite a traditional one. It's got some proper kind of feathers on there, and some tribal looking wooden beads at the bottom, and then it's got some transparent beads here, and I've kind of got a loop there. But I think that looks really cool, and I've incorporated a bit of green into it as well, which I think looks nice. When you think of Dreamcatcher, you think of something that looks a little bit like this. I've got this one, which, as you can tell, I got carried away with it, and I just stuck loads of feathers. I just couldn't resist. I couldn't stop myself. And my colour theme for this one was every colour I could find. And yeah, I think this looks kind of childish and a bit more playful and kid-like. But, you know, you can do that as well if that's the kind of thing you fancy. And yeah, and that's it really. And then I've got this one here, which it's a very kind of simple one. And I'm also not sure whether you would call this a Dreamcatcher. It really depends on the definition of a Dreamcatcher and what you consider a Dreamcatcher to be. I've done kind of the loop the same. I've stuck some kind of little bead strings along the bottom and stuck some flowers on. And for me, it gives kind of like a vintage grandma kind of vibe. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a Dreamcatcher. I would maybe call it, I don't know, like a floral hanging circle thing with beads on it. I don't know. But you could maybe extend some kind of pearls down and it would read Dreamcatcher a little bit better. But yeah, so you can kind of be as creative as you want with it. I don't think there's any kind of rules about what a Dreamcatcher is and what a Dreamcatcher isn't. Although, I don't think this is a Dreamcatcher. I really don't. But if you do want any more kind of inspiration, you can always look on Google, and there are loads and loads and loads of different kind of ideas, different techniques, and different kind of ways of making them. Like I've seen some with scraps of fabric and all sorts, and you'll see that you don't have to kind of stick to kind of the traditional norms of what a Dreamcatcher is in order to make a Dreamcatcher. It all depends on kind of your taste and your definition of a Dreamcatcher. But hopefully you enjoyed seeing how I make them. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!